What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Ammo Box. Michael Henry here, your host, with another DadPod. I'm gonna call it DadPod because it's all over. It's all over YouTube. That's what's basically been on the label. So, DadPod Ep.03, back at you again. Beautiful Sunday, beautiful Fort Worth, Texas. Having a great time and enjoying life as best we can. Learning lessons and turning wheels, making deals. I'm gonna coin that phrase for you, Josh. Turning wheels, and making deals, dude. I like it. I like it from the last episode. So. What do we got coming up? Oh, so everybody mark your calendars. If this gets posted, hopefully before then, I'm going to try to quick edit this and get it released so we can get a little word spread. November 12th, which is this coming Saturday, Southern Oak Band will be playing in the TCMA Showdown. I'm going to say that again. We will be playing in the TCMA Showdown. There you go. On Saturday afternoon, 1:40 p.m. Bring the family. It's a great time. We actually did it last year. We had a blast. We did like 5 songs. Each act was, I think there's 8 acts this year. Each act is going to do like between 4 and 6 songs, 20-minute sets. Then we got 3 judges who aren't associated with the organization. It's like impartials or whatever, and they're going to judge it. And like they did last year. Last year we actually tied for 3rd, which was really cool. Because honestly, we've only been around for. Well, this iteration's been like a year and a half. The band's been around in some form for like almost 5 years. But right, but we literally played every gig we could for the first 3 years. Had a little hiatus, came back together, started putting together a new project. TCMA heard it and liked it, so they offered us a showdown last year. They're offering it to us again this year, so I'm really excited. We will be there, like I said, 1:40 p.m. Like I said, bring the family. It's a huge event. They have like 100,000 people walking through the stockyards. It's food vendors, and they have adult beverage concessions, which are always nice. Always nice. We're still working to deal with that Silver Whiskey Company for seemingly obvious reasons off our first album. So, with that, what else we got? Sunday's the award show. If you want tickets, I don't know if they're still available. You can go to TCMA, Texas Country Music Station Association.org. See those tickets available if you want to go. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. I think, and I probably shouldn't say this because I don't know for sure, but I'm almost 100% sure that my man Eric is going to be emceeing again. You know what? Hold on a second. I'm going to get this live. I'm going to text Eric right now and see make sure that he's emceeing so that if I need to edit this out, I can edit this out. So what's going on with you, Josh? What's going on with Pistol Pete's while I'm fucking around with this phone?
Pistol Pete's is Pistol Pete'ing. We're just off for the weekend. We just put the truck in the shop. Might have some kind of front end steering issue.
All right.
So first mechanical issue has come up. I don't think it's anything major, but we're getting it checked out while we're in town, so we're not 5 states away and have a load on the trailer. So
right on.
At least get it looked at. The say it's broke or it's not, right? So other than that, we're still rolling and
kicking and turning,
burning coal and
turning
the wheels and making deals.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you get a little couple of day vacation here with the truck being in the shop maybe for a little while at least, because I know most shops are pretty backed up right now. I know we are where I work, so I would imagine everybody else is too, right?
Yeah, they said they might get to it early this coming week. I don't like those words, but you got to do what you got to do to make sure the driver's safe, the truck's safe, and everybody around is safe while you're on the road. So
that's the thing.
That's important.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating, I'm sure, because if they're not moving, they're not earning.
Can't produce when you're sitting still. So.
Yeah, I guess it's part of the game, though. You know what I mean? If you're prepared for it, you can handle it. I guess
that's right.
So, right on, man. Well, I'm glad Pistol Pete's is doing well, man. I know it was a big step for you to start this business. It was a huge step for you to come home and start this business. And I don't know, some of y'all may not know Josh. Josh was an oil field guy for years. DDW, right?
Just a DD.
Just DD.
Yeah, directional driller.
So he was running the machines. Yeah. So he was running those machines, and if y'all don't know anything about the oil business, it's pretty lucrative. So he took a huge chance coming home and started a business, trying to build an empire for his family, and I'm glad to give him a little bit of notoriety for sure. Hopefully through this, we can build this up and get you scaling the way you want to get you scaled. So with that, I really don't have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about other than I'm going to break my own rule here. because I always say, don't ever talk about politics. I've written stuff about it. I'm working on publishing something about it right now. And my main goal is, if you want to be successful as a business owner in the digital marketing thing, don't talk politics. And I think that reigns true for most people who have a product that is not necessarily politics centric. But being that we are just a talk show, really, just two jerks sitting in a room drinking beer and hanging out, right? I guess at some point somebody's going to want to know, you know. I know I would if I was watching a podcast. So, have you, that's probably Eric right there.
Where I'm at? No.
So we got,
I'm not smart enough to talk about it. I'll leave all that to you. You're the smart one. I'm just here for the look.
Well, you know. I mean, it is coming. We are, 2 days away from the election officially. Or we got, Ted Cruz and Beto are going at it. We got a whole bunch of other big races that have had at least a lot of notoriety in my news sphere, so to speak. Kerry Lake out in Arizona is doing pretty well, and there's a handful of people that are saying it's going to go one way or the other. I'm not really sure what to think of it based on the last few election cycles, because I really don't know what I can and cannot trust. Now, it does seem anecdotally around me, right? I work with people every day. I'm around, hundreds of people a week. So anecdotally, I don't see a lot of people who are talking about what the news is talking about. You know what I mean? And when I say the news, I mean mainstream media, like Channel 4, Channel 5, ABC, NBC, CBS, even Fox News, CNN, blah, blah, blah. Most people that I know are not talking about that stuff. They're not talking about, the gender stuff, right? The woke, cancel culture, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah stuff. And I mean, I don't really necessarily want to get into a whole lot of that, but it seems the only place I ever hear about any of that stuff, is on mainstream media news. Ever.
And that could be, honestly, since I quit the oil field, I don't even sit down and watch the news anymore, because I basically wake up, my daily routine is to wake up, walk dogs, sit back down at the computer and start looking for loads. Right. And that's what, I don't really come off of it. Yeah, I mean, I know I should probably be more in tune with it, honestly, just as an American.
Right.
But I'm not, because at the end of the day, it does affect us all, whether you are partaking in making yourself knowledgeable about it or not.
Right.
So.
And that's and part of that, I think, is the overwhelming abundance of information right now, right? There's so much noise that you can. You know what? I really think I've messed up this recording, because I haven't been switching between cameras as we've been talking, and I haven't been recording you.
It's just been a whole lot
at
of
all, just my face all day, which is fine, totally fine. So what I should have done.
It's all good.
Oh, crap. Well,
I will bring up, because you said the gender thing. I've actually filled out a couple of applications over the last week.
Right.
And I filled out one this morning.
Oh, please don't tell me you're putting this stuff on there.
It said, "What are your pronouns?" It
right.
asked me specifically what my pronouns are. And, of course, I chose he, him.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, I don't know what else to choose.
Why? I mean, what in the name of God are we doing here? What have we come to? Look, and call me boomer. I don't care. I'm not a boomer. I'm on the cusp of like X and Z generationally, right? Or whatever you want to call it. But for real. What the hell? What the hell? And I don't know, I have not met a single person. Again, I'm around people all the time. I have not met a single person who has been upset about being misgendered. Not one person have I come across that's like that.
Yeah.
So where does this come from?
I go all the normal places, drive-thrus, Walmarts, Kroger's, and I've never had anybody go, "Oh, please don't call me yes ma'am or no ma'am," or so.
Right.
Maybe I'm lucky I haven't ran into one of those yet, so I haven't had to have that conflict come up. But
and
it's just insane.
And again, seeing most of it in the news pretty much only, it seems that the only examples that are ever, I guess, given any kind of notoriety are the ones where it's some painfully obvious not of that gender claiming to be of that gender, and they're doing it in a public setting, in like a customer service or a retail space, you know what I mean, out in public where they know that somebody's gonna. It's like, at what point do we stop watching this crap? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At what point do we actually say, look, stop it, just stop it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, one of the ones that really caught my ear, I guess you could say, was the kids at schools wanted to be called cats.
Oh my god!
Like they wanted litter boxes put in somewhere or something like that. I was like, you can't entertain something like that, because that's not even like a rational thought process. Like, you're just looking for attention. You're begging for something that you're not getting somewhere else, or you know what I mean, something like that. It's almost, I don't know. That's this, like, the fact that a school board should have to shut down and have a meeting to entertain something like that is dumb.
It just, I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. Like, is it fair to blame the parents? Is it fair to blame the parents who are in enabling their children to actually look? The parent who tells their child it's okay to shit in a box at school is a parent who I don't want to hang out with. I don't.
Probably pretty fair.
You know, I don't understand how relating to another human being like that edifies that other human being. Period. Nothing about that interaction, in my mind, helps that individual.
I mean, what are you going to do once you're grown and you say you choose to be a doctor? I mean, is the hospital going to stop to have a litter box in the hospital? No, because it's unsanitary. So now you're not going to be able to do your profession?
Right.
And what are you going to do, sue the hospital because they won't acknowledge you're a cat?
Yeah.
Like,
all of a sudden you get staff because your litter box wasn't there. I mean, come on, y'all. Come on, man.
But I feel like there's actually been a line drawn. That's maybe why you don't hear so much, or you don't really run into it as much. Because if anywhere is being, populated, it's DFW with out-of-state influx of, blue states.
Yeah.
We'll say. Let's just leave it at that. Everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're coming from California. But then they bring the same mentality here. So, I mean, if you're going to run into it, you would run into it, I feel like, somewhere
I figure at this point, right?
Yeah.
I figure at this point, if that were an actual thing to where enough of the population as an average identifies or whatever.
It's a huge mixing pot.
I mean, it always has been. You've been here your whole life, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So my family got here in '84 from Oklahoma, right? It's always been a huge melting pot. DFW airport in the '70s, '80s, boom, population.
I said mixing pot, yeah,
melting pot. Bell helicopter in the mid '70s, I think it was, right over in Euless. Huge economic boom. Then the airport, the DFW airport, huge economic boom, right? All these people moving here from all of my parents who moved here in '84 were from New York. They're not native Southerners. They were both born in upstate New York and lived their entire lives up until like 1976. And relative to their age, which my dad was born in mid 40s, mom born in late 40s, right? So late 70s, they're late 20s, early 30s. And they were in, all of their friends were in the same boat. All of their friends had come here, come here for jobs. And again, we have to remember the time, like the 1970s, right? We had the huge economic downturn, the oil embargo, we had gas prices through the roof and rationing and all that kind of stuff. And right about that time is when everybody went where? Texas, right?
Yeah.
80s, they did it again when the economy kind of turned around. They realized, Texas opened up and boom, everybody came here again. And then 2008, right? They were talking cap and trade and all this other messing with the economy. And it doesn't matter how you feel about it. It is what it is. The economy went, and everybody came here again. Yeah. So I would imagine that, since the 70s. Everybody's been coming here since the 70s. I would imagine at some point, if that concept of reality that is wokeism now was actually real, we would see it firsthand here. Because this is where everybody comes. Well, no, that's not true. I saw it a couple times in Austin back in like.
Well, that's what I was about to say. We're also not in Austin, which probably has more tendency for it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I look at it. I mean, I've got different perspectives. I'm not homophobic by any means. I'm not a racist.
Right.
One of my sisters is gay. I mean, my goddaughter is of, African American descent, and
black and motherfucker. And I can say it because I'm dad.
Yeah, and I mean, I treat people on people factors.
Right.
I either like you or I don't when I meet you, and that's kind of where I start basing everything.
Right.
I've been with, even on the drilling rig, there were hands I liked, and there were hands that the first time I met them, I was like, no, I don't want to spend any time with you if I don't have to. So, I don't know. That's just how I go with people. I'm kind of introverted, I feel, at the end of the day, totally. So, until I'm really comfortable with people, I don't talk a lot. I'm genuine, I'm nice. So, I don't know. Good old checks with boys, so to say.
Right.
But,
Yeah. And look, I want to be empathetic, right? Again, having grown up with every sort of everybody that you could ever, because so I went to school in Hurst, Bedford, right? Northeast Texas, between Dallas and Terry County, right? We had Tonkin kids, because the American Airlines moved a whole bunch of Tonkin here to work at the airport when they opened it in the 70s. Huge kids. That's why Trinity was the powerhouse football team. Obviously Texas has been a place where African Americans have been represented as a part of the population for hundreds of years now, right? So and then obviously Hispanic because we're right on the border. I literally grew up with everybody. I was a choir kid, right? I knew some gay kids in high school. In fact, I'm still friends with the two kids in high school that I knew that were gay, and I love them to death. They love me to death. We've been friends this whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about having a phobia or having a fear or arguing a slippery slope. It's about, look, at the end of the day, what you want to do is what you want to do, and I'm not here to tell you that you can or can't, unless you're doing it in such a way that somehow violates my civil liberties, right? If you're naked in public, I'm going to tell you, hey, put some clothes on, dummy. But then again, I don't know anybody who's ever thrown a fit for not being able to be naked in public as a representative of who they are as a whatever, fairy.
If they were identifying as something as an introvert, I don't know.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. And I'm kind of in the same boat you are. I mean, I love everybody. I don't have a hateful bone in my body because it's not worth it at the end of the day to waste time like that. But stop screaming at me. Stop calling me all kinds of names because I don't necessarily agree with what it is that you believe as what reality is. Right? At some point, we have to sit down and agree that. And let's look at it scientifically, like medically, right? So, XY and XX chromosomes. That's it. A variation thereof that creates what they call what's called, I guess, transsexual, but like the actual genetic variant of it, where you have instances of both genitalia, right? Right, hermaphroditical, right? Yeah. And it's so rare that it's barely even registers as an anomaly. And I'm not saying that to devalue them. I'm saying that because it just doesn't happen. It's a truth. It's just a reality, right? The numbers bear out. So it's hard for me to approach it from a scientific level and say, okay, so if you identify as a female but you are male, you still have an XY chromosome rather than an XX. You cannot change your chromosome makeup. If you were born in XY as a dude, you cannot be an XX. And I don't say that to devalue anybody. I say that because it is a physiological fact.
It's nature.
It is, right? You can't break it. Now, if you want to present yourself as opposite of the other, if you're a female who feels more comfortable, fine. Well, I don't care. I don't care. I don't have to care. I don't have to care. All I have to do is treat you like a human, which means I talk to you like you're a human, not like you're a fairy sprite or a coyote. What do they call those? What a lichen self or whatever. I mean, at some point it just beget. I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. Am I weird, Josh?
I'm sure we're all weird to somebody, right? But
maybe so.
I think it also it makes us who we are. Our weirdnesses are our differences. So.
Right. It bees what it be sometime, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And honestly, if I'm casting a vote based on that, based on the perception of reality that recognizes people are what they are and can be what they want to be, I'm going to go with the one that allows that. You know what I mean? That isn't trying to squeeze people out of the market, isn't trying to silence people on platforms, isn't trying to isn't trying to turn off channels or turn off methods of communication for certain individuals based on a certain political bent or a certain whatever. Because that's not. I mean, regardless of what side it's on, it's wrong, right?
Correct.
Right?
That's what I say.
But
You're pointing a finger one way or the other, in my opinion. So
right.
You're trying to get me to forcefully accept something you think is a reality, and I'm not here to argue whether it is or not.
Right.
To be honest, I mean, if you're in a bar and somebody turns on Bohemian Rhapsody, everybody in the bar sings Bohemian Rhapsody, no matter how you identify it.
Yeah.
And we all come together in that moment and enjoy it. Like that's what humanity is to me. So
and that's the song that does it.
Yeah, I didn't care if you were gay or black or white or Latino or whatever. When that song came on, man, we were here to jam and we all got down, So
a masterpiece is a masterpiece, and isn't that part of the indelible piece that is music? And I think that's why maybe Texas has been kind of, I don't want to say immune to it, but that's why maybe it's not as prevalent here. If it actually is a thing like they say, the reason I think it's not as prevalent here is because Texas has such a rich music history that is united cultures since 17 whatevers. You know what I mean? There's been an influence of some culture that was not necessarily native to Texas, imbibing its culture into Texas since its inception, which has created that melting pot, right? And that energy that allows people to work together and be. I don't want to say coexist because it's so cheesy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
seems so basic.
yeah. But I mean that's kind of the thing, isn't it? Wouldn't it just be music?
Yeah. I just keep doing this, and I'm like, sorry guys.
Yeah,
I can't help it. I don't
we're
know.
all family shit.
I think I just sniff some pepper on my hair.
But wouldn't it be music that would do that, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be music that reaches out between person A and person B, regardless of whatever's?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love.
And I know as a performing artist on a stage, you get to watch a crowd.
Yeah.
When you play a song, you get to see everybody's emotion, their face,
The reaction,
or their bodily reaction. Are they toe tapping, or
Mm-hmm.
do their hips start wiggling, or they just start nodding a little bit? Are you doing a little side nod?
Right.
They're all the different, because everybody's going to react different to that song. And then do they get up? That's their time to go to the bathroom or get another drink, or they come out on the dance floor and start dancing. You get to see all that emotion happen across your audience, and that's got to be a pretty super cool feeling.
Yeah.
So
It ain't bad. It really ain't bad. I remember my personal first experience on stage. I was, as a solo performer, I think maybe 11, and it was. Remember at the end of Home Alone when he's looking in the window, right, at the family having Christmas, and the song playing in the background. Candles in the window, right. Okay. That was the first solo
he's
I ever
always
sang.
home from the church, right?
Yeah.
And the bell rings. He's like, "Oh, I gotta get home now."
Yeah, that was the first solo song I ever sang on a stage in junior high, right?
Can we get a?
And I remember, we cannot.
Okay.
We can't. There's
still in November. I'm sorry.
All of the embarrassing video that exists of all of my high school and junior high performances are very well kept, but they are out there. And there's about 75 or 80 other people that have copies of it too, which is a little disconcerting. But then you know who you are. And if you're watching,
Keep them put up.
don't be that person. But I remember being on stage. I remember being on stage and thinking to myself, what the hell did I get myself into? Right? Because I mean, just aching nerves, so like physically shaking, and your heart, you can feel your heartbeat pulsing through your
Especially
entire
at 11.
skull.
Yeah. 11, you're like, oh.
Yeah. It
Is
was,
everybody in their underwear or something still, you know?
and that never works. Because when you're up there pissing your pants because you're so nervous, the last thing you're thinking of is somebody else's advice on how not to piss your pants. It just, you either are capable of shutting that little off and getting through whatever it is you got to get through and then moving on, or you don't. And thankfully I was, blessed with amazing parents who spent a crap ton of money on making me into a noisemaker. And I was able to, as they say, engage. I was able to engage, and that was the one that grabbed a hold of me. Said, "Here you are, dude. This is what you're gonna do for the rest of your life." And I was like, "Sweet, do it." And now I actually get to do it. You know what I mean? Now I actually get to do it kind of as a profession. I mean, I don't make a crap ton of money, but it's not really for that. But I get to do it.
There's so much more pleasurable experience that come out of it than just the paycheck.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. There's a part of what you do as a musician, and I say musician, and this is a whole other long conversation. It's like anyway, it's a whole long conversation. But there's musicians who have done it their entire lives and studied it as a science and as an art form and as an expression, as a philosophy. And there are musicians who like learn two songs, chords on a guitar, and then got a hit record. And the music industry is such that that's going to happen, and it is whatever. Yeah. But there's a scene of musicians, and I think you'll find this kind of universally, right? There's always going to be a scene of musicians in a locality, especially like near major metropolises. Of course, Austin has its niche. Fort Worth is actually a growing niche. Obviously, Nashville has its stuff. But there's underneath all of the mainstream stuff that would come out of any one of those pockets, excuse me, is a underbelly of musicians who no one's ever heard of, but who are better than 95% of the people that are being played on the radio. And when you're in that environment, I'm lucky enough to be in that environment with people who are way better at doing this than I am, and I get to like experience that camaraderie and that unity that comes from actually playing with somebody that good, it's astonishing. And that kind of underbelly of music in these cities is where you really find what the scene is about. You know what I mean? Because like Fort Worth is it's totally laid back. Everybody's very helpful. Everybody's very cool. Austin is very, I don't want to say plastic because it's not plastic, but it's Texas politeness and community with an edge, because you're there for a reason. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say it's super cutthroat, but there are I have heard instances where it can get pretty cutthroat, but I never experienced it because I never actually made enough of what I was doing out of there to really get into that level of it. But you hear horror stories about other cities, and I'm not going to name them because I don't want to burn any bridges, so to speak. But you hear horror stories about other cities that where they're actually actively crushing the good ones. You know what I mean? Because they don't have a look, or they don't have a specific sound, or they don't have a blah blah.
Or they don't have enough followers, or they don't have.
And that's the other side of it, right? Because that follower count is a huge part of what makes a musician now, right? And that's why the social media stuff. That's why
Yeah, I actually have a friend where her son is musically inclined. He does well. Mm-hmm. He does a lot of open mic type singing situations in Chicago, where he lives now, and has wrote some songs himself that have really caught some people's eye, and they're like, even though we love your song, we looked at your IG, we looked at your Facebook, and you don't have enough followers for us to really have interest. So when you hit this mark, this is when we'll talk to you. And I was like, wow, we love your stuff, but because you don't have 500,000 followers, we're not even going to consider it yet. That's crazy.
Isn't that gross?
You're a $1 million record label type executive person. You're like, I love you to death, but I have no interest just because.
Yeah.
That's insane to me, man.
And they're doing this to high school kids, bro.
Yeah.
They're saying this to high school kids who have barely had a chance to actually start, and learn this stuff, how to use it effectively. I mean, it's not. I mean, some of them, are going like super algorithm crazy, like Mr. Beast and all those guys. But most of these musician guys, if they're that good at music, they're not as good at this, right? Because they're not focusing their time on this. They're not focusing their time on putting together a studio. They're just making the music, putting it on their phone. You know what I mean? Posting it to YouTube and Instagram and seeing what happens. These poor kids are being told by the traditional gatekeepers, no, because you don't fit this or you don't fit that, and again that's why I love Fort Worth so much, because there's not as much of that gatekeeper stuff, and there are some gatekeepers who are kind of, I don't want to say lax about letting you in the door, but who are at least willing to give you an opportunity. You know what I mean? I've talked to guys like Jim Nash. I've talked to guys like John West and Joe Larson and some of these other relatively big names around, Fort Worth music, and they have always been more than helpful, and even if it's just offering advice, right? Hey, I've got this going on. What do you suggest? Well, let's tweak it this way, or present it this way, or turn it around and flip it over and then spike it over the net and dance on it. Whatever it is. And generally that willingness to be, of course, that willingness to be helpful translates into a community that is internally helpful. You know what I mean? Yeah. And these poor high school kids, but on the other side, right, there are some kids who are going hard in the paint in this stuff, the production and the the recording it and broadcasting it and live streaming and all that stuff, who are really good musicians and making a faster run of it, and good on them. Because believe me, if I had these tools when I was 16, you know what I mean? I had 3 cameras, phones, and all that. If I had all this stuff when I was 16 or 17, oh my God. Hell, even at 27, when I moved to Austin, I was single with a cat. I had all the time in the world to do whatever I wanted. And I did. I had like some software and a couple of pieces of this, that, and the other, couple of guitars and microphones and stuff, nothing crazy. But it wasn't this. Right. This wasn't cheap back then. I don't want to say that my setup was cheap, but it's inexpensive.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have had 2.5-inch diameter cameras, and there'd have been giant camcorders taking up like a quarter of the room. It'd have been, we'd have had 3 fans in here to keep everything cool so it wasn't overheating. The opportunity they have nowadays to digitize yourself is insane. And then all the open platforms where it doesn't cost to post yourself. Yada yada. So.
And Gary Vee, I don't know if you know Gary Vee. He's I don't want to say motivational speaker guy, but he's a motivational speaker guy. He started a wine business and was one of the first guys to build like an online wine business that was successful, and now he's this huge entrepreneur, mentor guy, right? Super, super smart, extremely personable, because he's real. He's not one of those suit and tie guys that stands up on the stage and says, "You need a PowerPoint this." He's like, "No, it works. He was talking about that the other day. Now I'm lost. We're talking about he was talking about distribution being free, right? So it doesn't. The only thing and his big thing is just post, make stuff and post it, make stuff, put it out. Make sure it's relevant to a demographic that you want to go after.
Yeah, that you actually want to be attracted to you,
but just consistent post. It's going to be bad at first, and that's Brandon Ferris of I am Brandon Ferris YouTube channel said the same thing. He's been doing it 10 years. He finally broke 3-4 years ago. And when I say broke, he went gloosh. You know what I mean? And his channel opened up. Huh? Yeah, and he's one dude. He's literally one guy who was shooting videos in a kitchen called Google Translates. Right, and he would take a recipe and run it through Google Translate like 1,500 times or whatever it was, and then back into English, and then whatever it said in English after that 100th translation he would just do in the kitchen to make whatever recipe he was. And it's the funniest garbage on earth. It is hilarious what he does. What he does with that little skit, right? And then of course he's got a whole bunch of series of videos about being grateful and thankful. Usually on Thanksgiving he'll do like a big 3-hour live stream just naming all the stuff that he's thankful for. But that genuineness is part of that thing, right? Yeah. Mr. Beast the same way, because he caught a viral thing and rode the wave and literally sat down with like 3 or 4 of his buddies or whatever and just executed building a viral platform, a viral channel, right? All the mistakes, they logged them, taught each other, moved on, did the next thing, and boom, he's got 1 billion followers. Billion followers, you know what I mean? You know what he didn't do? In fact, I think he might have gone for dropped out.
Well, I'm halfway there then.
Yeah, I'm saying,
I didn't go to college, so I just need 1 billion followers.
We're working on it. Like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. We're gonna put some music in. Yeah, we'll see some little graphics floating around somewhere. So, yeah. Oh goodness. But that's what it comes down to, right? Just be willing to post, and distribution is free. So why not take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
It just makes sense that way. And I feel like I'm such a bad host because I'm not switching this camera back and forth.
It's alright.
At all, man. But anyway.
I'm more like a voiceover type of guy.
You're like
you don't like to see me.
You're the Jamie to my Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Just need to give you a laptop and tell you to search for stuff.
You know I'm here. You don't have to see me.
No offense, Jamie. I think you're awesome. What you do for Joe's amazing. Well, yeah, I'm. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. And I want to be part of what I want to do as a musician. I want to help those musicians who are trying. You know what I mean? Because I've literally been through single cameras, set up shots that just record into your phone, and you pop them into a free software and edit them as best you can and post them. You know what I mean? Yeah. All the way up to multi-camera setups with audio, professional audio, and
we try to be fancy.
Blah blah blah. And honestly, this is still a relatively inexpensive setup. But what you can do inexpensively now is light years beyond what you could have done inexpensively back then. Yeah. So I'm thankful this stuff exists for sure.
Using your 10 million gajillion megapixel iPhone or Samsung now compared to just 2 phones ago, what the difference is. So.
Yeah, it is. Look, I'm as technologically into stuff as the next guy. So Eric's, I guess he's not going to text me back and let me know he's hosting the TCMAs. But whatever. I love technology. My dad was a computer programmer, science guy, right? And so I grew up with a computer in my house. And I fell instantly in love with being able to kind of express myself in a way that didn't necessarily require a whole bunch of equipment to lug around. My first instrument was piano. As you can imagine, I didn't like carrying one around. Then I got into clarinet, and guitar, and a couple other things. But technology is fascinating, and the advancements. I don't even guess this is the Z Fold 4. Okay, this is the most ridiculous piece of machinery I have ever seen. It's a mini tablet. It's literally a mini tablet
that folds in half.
Yeah,
and then still has another screen.
And then on the front, it's like a regular cell phone.
You have a regular phone. You have a giant phone. You can You can have like 3-4 different windows open when it's unfolded, right?
Yeah,
partial out, just like a laptop screen. You can minimize. It's nuts.
Multiple apps running at the same time. It is truly incredible the power that they have harnessed in these machines. Because I remember. Look, I'm old enough to know the first Bronco phones. Remember the old Bronco phones?
Switch from Motorola to a Bronco.
Little pink alien guy with the one antenna that was crooked like this. Yeah, and I remember it was like $70 a month, but you only got like 2 hours of talk time and like 15 text messages, and every text message over that 15 was like 50 cents or some ridiculous amount.
Every month we were.
And yeah. Then we went to the Nokia stick phones, and then we went to the Motorola Razr. The Razrs. The Razrs was dope.
They were so thin. Everybody thought that was
That was the titties.
Yeah. Thought it was tits for sure.
You know, and I remember I had the pre-Razr.
Still just green backlit, black letter phone, but
yeah.
just because it was so small, it folded in hand.
Mm-hmm. They put that technology kind of pattern in the keys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember I had a Motorola. It wasn't a Razr. It was the actual. It was the hardware or the software generation for the Razr in a different hardware platform, right? But just before the first Razr came out, so it was like everything that the Razr operating system did, just on like a bulkier flip phone. And that thing was the bomb. I had that thing for like 5 years, bro. I had that thing forever. And but then the Razr came out, and I never got one. And then the iPhone came out, and it was like, oh, it's over. Computer in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Game over. We're done.
That was it.
And we got now again these things, and it weighs like 4 pounds.
Yeah.
But it does so much I don't care. Is that wrong?
See, I'm a big phone guy, and I don't think I can enjoy that one.
Right.
Honestly, I don't. Like, I like a big screen, but I like it just one. I still want that razor thinness with my one big screen. So that's my bougie. That's too thick for me, bro. It is. That's like lugging around too much, man. It's like actually having a wallet like I used to carry, you know?
Yeah.
You had all these extra cards and stuff in your wallet for no reason, just to fill the slots, and then you like sit down and you're like, what's this guy doing? Oh, it's just my wallet.
Yeah.
You lean to the side.
You know, they used to get that hip pain right there in the back top of your hip, right? Sitting, if you're, especially after a road trip, you know?
Yeah.
You're sitting like this, huh? So ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but I mean, obviously, being that I do a lot of uploading and editing and all this kind of stuff, you just can't beat the power and the capability of it, and I love it. I hate
able to multi-app without having to switch, like, you know, use your, what is that they call the little hamburger at the bottom or whatever, that
Yeah.
you hit it, you can see all your open apps, and then go back to that app. You can do it on, you can run 2 apps basically at the same time.
Yeah.
And just bounce between them to help yourself out.
Crazy processing power.
Yeah.
Crazy processing power.
It's as
And
fast as a laptop for sure.
yeah, damn near. And when I get into video editing with my laptop, it bogs down and starts running like crap and can't keep up with the software. But this little doohickey right here, and I got a Lenovo.
They just keep on ticking.
These things I can edit and add music and text and cut and splice and transition and all that
Answer a
stuff.
phone call while I do it.
Right? And it doesn't even hiccup. It doesn't even act like it wants to hiccup. My Lenovo with a Radeon card in it, not responding.
I can't say that. I really like it.
Dude, I love the Lenovo too. This has been a great laptop up until video editing. Dadgummit. But I mean, it still does the job. I can still get through it. And we're trying a couple of different things to kind of ease the processing power requirements, and hopefully it works. I really hope it works, because I really don't want to have to do this like over again. But no, it's been a journey, and hopefully some of this. I mean, if you guys want to know what my setup looks like, comment. Seriously, comment. I'll share it with you. I'll send you all the links and everything to everything that I use, how I set it up, and what I'm doing. So I mean, it's not difficult. You just have to have the processing power.
Ultimately, ours is pretty basic, or yours, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here and enjoy it, but I mean, there's nothing fancy in here. I can promise you that. It's
Bare bones.
Yeah.
Bare bones. And I'd rather do bare bones with good equipment than spend a whole bunch of money on fluff. You know what I mean? Because eventually, I mean, we're going to change a lot of this. Okay. Oh, by the way, so why not? So this beautiful, this little end table right here has a matching coffee table and another end table upstairs. And if you are interested in it, please let me know, because I'm trying to get rid of it.
You can't see it.
I'll post something somewhere. People look on Facebook. They're really nice for Havertys. We've had them for a while, and I don't have a use for them anymore. I just kind of need to part ways. So I'm gonna get a couple of small desks, right, and kind of facing to each other and kind of put in the middle of the room, so we have some walk around space behind us. We're gonna change some stuff up, and I don't know if we're gonna stick with this big honking mama. Huh? I know. Well, I'm gonna have some comfortable chairs too, so we can actually kind of maneuver and get a little. I'm gonna change the shot of it up a little bit and do a couple of things. Plus, I've got. I mean, you can see here. Well, you may not be able to see, but I've got cords strewn everywhere because I'm kind of spread out across the room.
Be American Ninja Warrior on the way out and on the way in. Don't worry about it. We're professionals. Don't try this at all. Okay?
Yeah, it does take a little bit of practice. You gotta run 2 a days for a couple of weeks to get in shape.
Get through this gauntlet.
You know, but yeah, if you want to know what my setup is, I'm more than happy to share it. I want people to do this because honestly, I think the more people that have a voice do something like this, the better off we are as a society. You know what I mean? Even if you're saying something crazy, I'd rather people know where it is and how to avoid it. You know what I mean? Rather than be blindsided by it because you try to hide it from it. You know what I mean? At some point, it becomes necessary to defend offensive speech because that was the whole concept anyway. But anyway, that's a soapbox I'm not going to get on, at least right now. We got a lot of stuff going on and in the works. Pistol Pete's will be back on the road hopefully by the end of next week, right?
Yeah.
Get him out of the shop. We're going to keep the Emo box rolling and going. I'm going to do a whole bunch more shorts and we'll do some B-roll stuff. And
I enjoy the shorts. The shorts are fun.
They're fun to make too. They're fun to make because I can do it straight from my phone. You know what I mean? It takes me 20 minutes. Add a little of this, add a little of that, and a little music track to it. It's really nice. The software is really powerful, which is great. But they're fun to make, and she's just such a natural. She's just such a natural.
She's just having fun. She don't even know what you're doing anyway.
You know, she's great, and I have a feeling she's going to enjoy this when she learns how to do it. Because hopefully I can leave this as a legacy to her, and she can continue on after. You know, I decide I don't want to do it anymore, or whatever happens. So, with that, anything else you want to touch on? Anything else you want to get after?
I don't think so. I mean, it's bye week, so Cowboys are off. I'm pretty chill this week. I'm on my much more relaxed state. I'm not excited. So
yeah. The Cowboys are off. You're off, right?
That's right. The truck's not on the road, so I'm super relaxed. I just feel I haven't felt this calm of a wave in a few months, honestly.
Yeah.
Because even when it's not rolling, you're thinking about it. You're concerned. Is the driver comfortable? Is he happy where he's at?
Right.
You know. So, yeah. I'm having a great weekend.
Right on. Right on. Rest is a weapon, right?
And we had s'mores last night.
Oh yeah.
We had
Okay.
s'mores last night.
So here it is. Here it is. Wife calls me. Or actually, I called the wife on my way home from work yesterday. So what are we doing tonight? Oh, we're having s'mores. All right, cool. I'll have a s'mores. I'm okay with that. I've never had s'mores before last night. I'm a s'mores virgin as of, well, no longer as of last night.
We popped a cherry last night.
And let me tell you something. Look, there are genius desserts, and then there are genius desserts. Whoever figured out stick a marshmallow in an open flame, and then squeeze it between a piece of chocolate and 2 graham crackers, dude. Great American hero.
Yeah.
Gotta put chocolate and mushrooms in a graham cracker. Dude, seriously.
They say not all heroes wear capes, bro.
Legit. Legit,
It's
man.
one of the most delishable
Unreal.
things ever.
And I've had s'mores flavored stuff, and I'm like,
Not the same.
you have a charred nug.
All the texture, bro. You
Yeah.
have the texture, not just the flavor.
Right. And that was part of it for sure. The experience
Crunchy,
is
snappy,
definitely.
soft.
Yeah.
You know? What? Is that even a combination?
Yeah.
It is. In a schmo.
And a s'more.
That's right.
And a yummy snack. So yeah, that's going to be officially something that goes. That's off the bucket list now, but I'm going to put it back on there probably every 6 months, just to make sure that I am as appreciative as I can be of a good s'more. Yeah, s'mores are bomb. All right. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Again, like, subscribe, share, comment. It helps the algorithm. If we can get to you, then we can help others who can do other stuff and have a good time, and we'll probably edit out that little rambling piece of jargon I just kind of waved through. Help us to help others, help everyone else.
You like two rambling idiots.
Yeah.
Click like, subscribe, and watch us again, because that's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
IYCBHG. If you